1212, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Alan. We're talking everyone's favorite topic, movies. This episode, we're talking about the biggest movie of the summer, probably the year. It's probably the hottest movie on the planet right now. I mean, what a great time to be alive, to be able to experience something like this. Not only with people in theater, but just on the internet. I guess the zeitgeist, if you will. It's just really cool. Is Marvel back? Is probably the biggest question that this film does answer. I won't make you wait. Yes, I think they are, with an asterisk. It's too soon, I think, to say definitively. I think Captain America next year will let us know what we're in for these next couple of Avengers films. So where Deadpool and Wolverine fall in that big picture, I'm not quite sure, but this was a great film, fun ride, had a blast. So let's just get into it. All right, so the first part of this, I do want to keep it relatively spoiler-free. There might be some mild spoilers here and there, but it's a really hard film to talk about without some of these things. So our film picks up with our main character, Wade Wilson, Deadpool, in the middle of a midlife crisis. His relationship is on the rocks. He's not happy with his career as Deadpool, so he's working like a regular job. Pretty mundane existence. He's been rejected by the Avengers. He's looking for something more and just not sure how to get there. Enter the TVA, which are the police of the timelines of the multiverse. I believe that's a good way to surmise that. I could be wrong, but I'm sure someone in the comments can clear it up for me. Appreciate that. Because of the actions of the end of Deadpool 2, the TVA is involved in Deadpool's life now. So they bring to his attention that basically his timeline is destroying itself from the inside. Deadpool, being the genius that he is, figures out a way to save his universe. And as you all know from the trailers and the title of the film, he's looking for a version of Wolverine to help him do this. So I'll save all the rest for spoilers, I think. I really liked the film. It was a great time. I can't wait to see what Marvel does next. I hope some of the things that are teased in this film that I never thought I'd see get fleshed out more. And we'll talk about that in spoilers right after this. All right, welcome back, 1212. We're getting into spoilers here. So, the opening scene of the film. I thought it was hilarious when Deadpool opens up Logan's grave, expecting to find him alive, after giving us this exposition about how regenerative healing factors work, only to find that, yes, Logan is in fact dead. There's this amazing, gory action sequence with Logan's skeleton used as a weapon, because there are 206 bones in the human body. And he just takes each bone and uses it in this crazy scene set to NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye, which was a really cool cut for me because I'm an NSYNC fan from back in the day. And to this day, my wife and I debate, about Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC, her representing Backstreet Boys, of course, as I scratch my mustache coolly. But I believe Deadpool has definitively answered the question, squashed the debate. It's a wrap. NSYNC, baby. That sequence did kind of overstay its welcome a bit for me. Now, it was fire. Choreography was popping. They were doing all the bye, 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 the head bob, and I was like, okay, I'm with that. But it just went to that well one too many times for me. I think after the third time they showed it, I was like, okay, it's gotten a little thin. And I think they realized it, and they didn't show it again. Cool. But it did hit for that first time. I don't think in future viewings I'll get as much enjoyment out of that. I may fast forward through that part, but it's tied to this big cool fight, so nah, it's stuck with us. So Deadpool learns that the reason his universe is destroying itself is because it lost its anchor being, and that was Logan. So Logan passed away, the universe has been destroying itself. This usually takes thousands of years, but for some reason the guy, Mr. Paradox, wants to speed that up, so that causes Deadpool to have to figure out a plan, and his plan is to get a variation of Wolverine to help him save his timeline. So then we get our next cool deep cut montage of the variants of Wolverine. I recognize pretty much all of them. First thing we got, now I don't remember what order they appeared in, but we got the Calverine, which was Henry Cavill's portrayal of Wolverine, which was heavily rumored and I did not believe was true. He looked cool, he looked badass. I would say I didn't like his hair. His hair looked kind of stupid. I don't know. It just didn't look cool. He had the cigar chomping thing going on. He's revving up a bike. He's so huge. He unsheaths the claws and basically, it's like if Superman punched Deadpool with claws. Wolverine's claws is what it felt like to me. But I thought it was cool. Really nice little surprise there for me. I would have liked to see more of that. We got Old Man Logan, which I knew was coming. He's just too cool not to cameo, right? Logan, 2017 film was kind of based on that loosely. Then we got Hulk 340, that cool cover where Wolverine's got his claws out and they're reflecting the Hulk's face. That was way too brief for me. I wanted that to go forever. What other version? We got the Age of Apocalypse version of Wolverine, which is missing a hand, super big afro, really savage dude. He's kind of just like chilling up against the wall like it's an 80s music video. Like all it's missing is him smoking a cigarette or something. But yeah, that was cool to see. I couldn't believe we got that. Now, was there another version I'm missing? Oh, comic book height accurate Wolverine. And I have to admit, that looks really dumb on screen. I was kind of when Hugh Jackman got the role 20 plus years ago. But yeah, definitely they went with the right route. A little tiny guy playing Wolverine, little Danny DeVito running around with all these regular sized people would just not translate well to film. That probably should just stick to the comics or even animation. You got it. Okay, and then the last variation I believe we got, one I had to look up. Wolverine strapped to the X, surrounded by all the bloody skulls. That's actually from a comic book cover. I think this issue of X-Men 251, if I remember correctly. And it's a hallucination. Like all those skulls aren't really there. So after we get the variants out of the way, we do land on our Logan, which is the worst Logan. The one that absolutely let his whole universe die. Now that we've got the worst Logan and Deadpool running around trying to save the universe, it doesn't really go far. They land back at the TVA. They immediately get sent to the trash or the void, and it's here in the void where we get the everything else that we've been waiting to talk about. That's where we have our first fight between Deadpool and Wolverine. It's amazing. It's bloody. It's graphic. It's everything you want when these guys fight. They're swearing at each other. Straight out of the comics, man. We get a quick fight between Logan and Sabretooth, played by the original actor, looks like, from those movies back in 2000, which was kind of cool. If I'm being honest, I'm not really a super fan of that version of Sabretooth. I thought Liv Schreiber's version was actually cooler. I think Sabretooth's fingernails are just a hard thing to get right in a movie, to make them look intimidating. But I digress, that's their problem. So we get this brief fight with Sabretooth, which gives us this cool reveal. Chris Evans is there, and it's like we think he's going to be Cap, but all out of nowhere he yells "Flame on," turns into the Torch. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right, he was in both universes, duh. He gets pretty easily handled by Pyro, which I believe that's probably the main reason Pyro's in this film, is for that scene. Among Pyro, we get to recognize, who did I see? We got Toad, we got Azazel, we got Lady Deathstrike, we got Juggernaut, and that's all I can remember off the top. Now, all these ragtag guys, they basically live in Ant-Man's body. And I'm not really sure how Ant-Man figures out being in the Void, since he's a Marvel property, and these seem to be all Fox properties, unless there's an Ant-Man Fox property thing that I missed. But yeah, he's there. And that's when we get to meet the villain, Cassandra Nova, Charles Xavier's sister. I believe Cassandra Nova is portrayed for laughs more in this film than her character normally is. She's a very scary person, dangerous. It's like an evil Charles Xavier. The way she reads minds is definitely different than Charles. She literally sticks her hands in your head, and that is a creepy effect that we get to see a few times. We get to meet DeadPool, which is just a version of Ryan Reynolds with long flowing hair, and he's so nice. He has Dogpool as a pet, so that's how we get to Dogpool in the movie. Now, DeadPool mentions the Deadpool Corps and the Outsiders, or the Resistance. So that leads us to the next really cool reveal, the cameos. We get to meet these Outsiders after a second fight between Deadpool and Wolverine, and that one's even better than the first. It's confined to a vehicle. It's really cool. Close quarters combat is always a cool thing to see on film. We get this scene where the guys wake up and no one's there. They're like, where are we? Cue the music, slow motion. We get Elektra. That's Jennifer Garner. And then followed next, I don't know if it was Channing Tatum's Gambit or if it was Wesley Snipes' Blade, but both got huge reactions in the theater. I couldn't believe I was seeing Gambit. That was crazy. I remember when Channing Tatum was cast, took some promotional pic, nothing ever became of it, and that's like over a decade ago. So this was a really cool deep cut for us comic book nerds. And he didn't disappoint. He was funny. I didn't really love the look of the costume, but it does seem in line with where Fox was going with that early 2000s look, with the black leather being predominant over the bright colors. But yeah, he nailed it, man. Remy LeBeau, his accent, everything was funny. It's played for laughs with Deadpool. Blade showing up, showstopper, man. The crowd went nuts. I went nuts. And then that's when we get the reveal of one of the outsiders, which was given away in the latest trailer, the final trailer, at least the last one I watched. And that's X-23. I wish they would have kept that one out. That would have been a really cool thing to see. But yeah, X-23 brings Deadpool and Wolverine back to the base of the outsiders. And from there, we basically get that final fight scene where they take on Cassandra Nova and her goons. And it's an amazing fight. I think Gambit's got the coolest moment in that. We got the outsiders getting their ending. It's kind of baked into the plot with the dialogue that they didn't get endings for their franchises. So it's really meta, really cool stuff. We get our finale with Cassandra Nova. We see the Deadpool Corps. The Deadpool Corps was awesome. I'm not super familiar with them, but Lady Deadpool was amazing. She kind of is the highlight or standout, which I believe they went that route because they don't have Gwenpool. I guess she's tied up with the whole Sony thing and rights, but she was notably absent. She is the one person I would have recognized. There's a Kidpool, a Deadpool baby, a floating head. I don't really know who any of these guys are. But, you know, for fans of that was great to have on the screen. I'm a nerd, so I can dig it. It was cool seeing that stuff. Their fight scene to Like a Prayer, I think that's going to be legendary. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's legendary. That choreography to that music. I've always thought Like a Prayer was an okay song. It just had a really, you know, striking music video. And it's kind of the same way now. If you take that fight scene, there's a scene part where they get on a bus, and that's normally, you know, as a kid watching 80s music videos, that's where in the choreography, everybody, like a prayer, I'll take you there. And there'd be some choreography, but instead it was just like all murder and violence and swordplay and blood splatters. And that's legend, man. That was so cool. I can't wait to see that part again. From there, after that scene, we get to basically the cliche, you know, two heroes having to save the world and they're fighting over who gets to do it. It's very reminiscent of Hawkeye and Black Widow in Infinity War, where they're basically fighting to see who gets to save the world and die. Before I get to that though, because at this point in the movie, Wolverine's fully masked up. Man, let me tell you something, baby. Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. Seeing that guy pull that mask up, because he's not had it the whole film. He's just rocking the suit, which is amazing, by the by. Forgot to mention that too. But just seeing the yellow spandex, I can't believe how great it looks. But when this guy goes back and pulls up that mask, and I'm like, holy, I didn't know that was a thing that we were gonna get to see. Because I thought the suit was enough, but yeah, the mask comes out, man, it looks good, man. It is a little weird to see it for a second in real life, but yeah, it looks amazing. So the rest of the film, Wolverine's rocking the mask. I'm leaving some stuff vague. I want to leave everything else out that I didn't mention. I just really want to talk about the deep cuts and the cameos. They definitely did it for me. I can't wait to see more. Hopefully we get to see more in Secret Wars. Okay, this is the last thing I'll talk about. There was a reference at some point early on in the film where we get to see Deadpool being held by Thor, and it seems like it's like a death scene and Thor's crying. It is so hilarious that that could actually happen in Secret Wars. They have to make that happen, man. But anyway, I want to leave it at that. This is an amazing film, fun time. It did not disappoint. I would say negatives, the humor felt a little forced at times. Everything made me laugh, but in subsequent viewings, I don't think it's going to be as funny. So if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you sticking around and watching this guy awkwardly talk about movies outside in the Texas heat. I'm really enjoying making the content. I just don't have as much time as I would like to for this. I'm definitely going to work harder to get more content on the channel. Check out my other channel where I do vlogs. Usually right now it's just going to be about me going to the movies. So I'll talk about the movies on this channel and show the experience of me going to the movie on the other channel. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Give me a like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. I do have a Long Legs and Twister review that I'm working on, but that's been my few minutes with it. Till next time. Bye.